criminal law and justice. So, the criminal is the person who has committed a crime. And justice, it is the social norm providing guidance for the people or a social standard offering a medium of control of the people. So, ang sinasabi dito, the criminal ay siya yung gumagawa ng mga masasamang bagay sa ating lugar. Siya yung katulad ng mga pagnanakaw at kung ano-ano pang mga masamang gawain dito sa atin. At ang justice naman ay na gumagabay sa mga tao upang makontrol ang social norm ng bawat isa. In our criminal justice system, it consists 5 pillars. The law enforcement, prosecution, court, correction, and community. So, the first pillar is law enforcement. It is the initiator of the prime mover of the system, and they are the one who arresting the criminals. Ang sinasabi ito is, ang law enforcement is tinatawag din na police. Yun yung police na nag-i-initiate sa atin sa ating system. Siya yung nanguhuli ng mga masamang tao na gumagawa ng masamang bagay. And while the prosecution who may conduct preliminary investigation or inquest proceeding depending in the situation. Sila yung ang prosecution ay nagko-conduct ng mga investigation. Inimbestigahan nila yung mga nangyayari sa bawat crime. Kapag tinawag nating preliminary investigation, ito yung nagko-conduct ng offender ng arrested by virtue of warrant arrest. Meron silang warrant of arrest para mahuli yung isang kriminal. So, in the other hand, the inquest proceeding is, siya yung nagko-conduct kapag wala silang warrant of arrest. Tawag dun ay inquest proceeding. Yung hulihin nila yung mga criminal na wala silang dalang warrant of arrest. So, the third pillars of the Philippines is the court. It is responsible for determining the guilt of the offender through trial. Sa court, ang court naman ay ito yung tinatawag na dito nila tina-trial yung mga criminal. Kumbaga yung mga ini-interview nila kung ano mga nangyari, kung yung criminal ba ay magiging guilty or not. So, in a fourth pillar of the Philippines is a correction. It's responsible for implementing of the penalty of the offender. Correction ay nag-implement naman ng penalty para sa mga criminal or the offender. So, in the fifth pillar of the Philippines is the community. It's responsible for acceptance for purpose of reintegration of the offender. Yun yung tinatawag nating community sa ating lugar. Dahil doon nagagawa ang lahat ng mga crime na nangyayari sa ating bansa. Meron din tayo tinatawag na the felon. It is the person who committed the felony. Sila yung mga nagko-commit ng mga felonies, pagnanakaw, mga ganun. Suspect is the subject of investigation. Ang suspect ay sila yung mga ni-interview for investigation. Respondent naman is the one who's subject of the preliminary investigation of inquest proceeding. Ang accused is if the person is charged of the offense in the court. Yun yung accused na tinatawag. Ang appellant naman is meron tayong 15 days para ma-investigate yung mga criminals. So, ang probation is the one who serve your sentence outside the prisons with condition of the court. Sila yung nagsaserve ng sentences about the prison ang nasa loob ng court. Petitioner is the one who file an application for probation. Sila yung nagpa-file ng application para sa probation sa court. So, while the probationer naman is the application of probation was granted by the court. So in our criminal law and justice is we have prosecutor. Prosecutor is the one who verifies the person arrested be placed under criminal process. Sila yung nagbe-verify ng mga na-arrest sa ating lugar under our criminal justice process. In preliminary investigation, they have 15 days to investigate. Sa preliminary investigation natin, meron tayong 15 araw para mag-investigate. Kasi pag lumampas ka doon, maaaring ang iyong iniimbestigahan ay mapawalang bisa. And then the one who investigate administrative charges against fiscal and other prosecution officer is state prosecutors. Prosecutors pa rin ang maaring mag-investigate lalo na kapag under of administrative charges or fiscals and other prosecution officer. Ang prosecutor then is the one who is responsible in reviewing appeals from the resolution of the fiscals in a connection with all them. So, rin nagre-review ng mga appeals for resolution of the fiscals. So, in compliant is a sworn written statement charging a person with an offense. Compliant is sila yung nagsusulat ng mga statement charging the criminals. In our mixed system is a system wherein the victim provide facts, evidence, and testimony of witness to prove the guilt of the accused. Before that information is an accusation in writing charging person with an offense subscribed by the fiscal and filed with the court. Also, the plaintiff is a person who brings an action in a court law. So, in punishment, history tries the static against an offending members of the society that usually involve pain and suffering. While in our ancient form of punishment, we have a death penalty. So, binibigay lang ito for grave offenses. It may be affected by burning, beheading, hanging, breaking at the wheels, and other forms of executions. And also, we have a physical torture. They treat prisoners alike. Mass movement. So, mass movement is sabay-sabay na lahat ng gagawin ang mga bilanggo. So, degradations. Ang degradations is the degrading the prisoner's confidence by insulting words or language. We have also corporal punishment. Imposing brutal punishments or employing physical force. Isolations and solitary confinement. So, non-communication limited use. In contemporary forms of punishment, we have imprisonment. So, it is the imprisonment to rehabilitate and to undergo the institutional treatment programs. Also, the parole. It's when prisoner will be released conditionally. Still, the parolee will be supervised and guided by a parole officer. And there is certain conditions that has to follow. The purpose of parole is gradually reintroduce the prisoner to the free life. Probation. It's the disposition whereby a defendant after convictions of an offense, the penalty of which does not exist in 6 years imprisonment, is released subject to conditions imposed by releasing court and under the supervision of probation officer. Oh, moreover, we have a classification of sentenced prisoners. We have a insular or national prisoner, provincial prisoner, city prisoners, municipal prisoners, and that's all. Insular or national prisoners is a term of imprisonment in 3 years and 1 day to life imprisonment. While the provincial prisoner is a term of imprisonment is from 6 months and 1 day to 3 years. Find that it's not more than 1,000 pesos or both. In city prisoners is an imprisonment of 1 day to 3 years, or a fine of not more than 1K or both. In municipal prisoners, it's confined in municipal jails. Terms of imprisonment is 1 day to 6 months. So, what is jail? It's a place for locking up a person who are convicted of minor offenses of felonies. Person for short sentences only, and still waiting the result of their cases. Oh, we have types of jails like lock-up jail, ordinary jail, workhouse jail, farm or camp, provincial jail, and that's all. So, lock-up jail is a security facilities that can be seen in police stations that usually used for contemporary confinement of the person who undergo investigations. So, we have types of jails. Lock-up jail, ordinary jail, workhouse jail, farm or camp, provincial jail. And lock-up jail is security facilities that can be seen in police stations that usually used for contemporary confinement of the person who undergo investigations. And ordinary jail is a type of jail that is detained by convicted criminal that serves a sentence less than 3 years. In workhouse jail, farm or camp, the offenders that serve short sentences, they provide full employment for the prisoners. While the provincial jail, it is not undergo the bucure. It is under the provincial government. In rehabilitation purposes groups, we have a medical and health services branch, work and educational therapy services, socio-cultural services, chaplaincy services, and guidance and counseling services. This group provides services and assistance to prisoners. In medical and health services branch, it provides medical and physical examinations in of inmates upon confinement, treatment of sick inmates. In work and educational therapy services, it takes charge of the job. Admissions procedures in prisons. Receiving. The new prisoners is received at the RDC. The new prisoner usually comes from provincial or city jail, where he was immediately committed upon conviction by the court. Checking of commitment papers. The receiving officer checks the commitment papers if they are in order. That is, if they contain the signature of the judge or the signature of the clerk of court and the seal of the court. Identification or booking. The prisoner's identify is established through the picture and fingerprint appearing the commitment order. This is to ensure that the person being is the same as the person being named in the commitment order. Um, Briefing and orientation. The prisoner will be briefed and oriented on the rules and regulations of the prisons before he will assign to the RDC of quarantine unit. Searching shakedown. This step involves the frisking of the prisoner and searching his personal things. Weapons and other items classified as contraband are confiscated and disposited to the property custodian. Other properties are deposited when the trust fund officer under recording and receipts. Body cavity search. Expose body cavities like anus, vagina to look for contrabands. Parole. It's administrative functions because it is given by executive branch of the government. So, probation is the judicial functions because it's run by the courts. So, amnesty. It released by the order of the President and Congress. Like public up of the Presidents. And reprieve. So, temporary stay of the execution of sentence or suspend the date of execution. Pardon. Act of grace that is given by the President. So, that's all. Thank you.